Welcome into Anita on the Rail. Different setup today because I'm not in my home studio. No, we are live in Saratoga. I'm with Mr. Giddy Up here, Mark DiLorenzo, and we are coming to you from Kindred, as you like to call it, the second
best place in Saratoga behind the racetrack.
There you go. Dare I call this swanky? I'm going to call it swanky. It is so cool. This is where you need to come when you come to Saratoga. There's no denying that. In fact, we're going to talk about it a little bit later on the show. I've got a horse racing later on this afternoon. Her name is K-Cup. You've heard me talk about her before. I have a good feeling she's going to win. So does this dude to the left of me.
I got a good feeling too.
Good.
Race 3 today.
So this is what's going to happen. We're coming back here to Kindred to celebrate. You know that, right?
Yeah.
We'll be back here later on tonight.
Reservations already made.
Okay. All right. Again, we want to give a big shout out to America's Best Racing, ABR, who's been with us all season long. Kindred, as well as right next door, we're on Henry Street, is Henry Street Tap Room. Again,
the third best place to go in Saratoga behind the racetrack.
Man, really. Like they need to hire you. You're here. Like, more people know you than me. You need to be the spokesperson.
I've been here since early June, so I'm on a first name basis with the taxi drivers.
I'm just saying. So we're excited to be here. We love doing live broadcasts, so we're thrilled about that. Also, Naj Thompson from New York Thoroughbred Breeders, Inc. is going to be joining us on the program. We'll be talking about some of the New York bred horses in races that will be strutting their stuff, no pun intended, today, tomorrow, as well as Sunday, so stay tuned for that.
Mr. New York bred Naj Thompson, as I like to call him.
There you go. Ryan Anderson from ABR is going to make an appearance, and we're going to get his picks and his plays for the Travers. So we have a lot. Also, Vince Roth from Final Furlong is going to jump on board because, like I said, we've got K-Cup running later on this afternoon. I know by the time the show airs, she will have already won at least.
Race 3.
I hope.
The Fleet Indian Stakes.
There you go. I hope she will have already won.
6 to 5 morning line.
But nonetheless, we've got a jam-packed show. This guy is a treat, that's for sure. Let's jump right into it, right? Because it is Travers weekend. And the
Midsummer Derby.
And that's what it was called, right? The 156th running of, dates back to 1864, Grade 1 race, 3-year-olds. Post time is at 6:14 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. It is race 13. Here's some interesting little trends. 10 of the last 15 Travers winners competed in at least one leg of the Triple Crown. Horses that participated in the Grade 1 Haskell Stakes at Monmouth Park rarely prevail at the Travers, and the Grade 2 Jim Dandy Stakes has been the New York's leading Travers prep race, producing 6 of the last 15 winners. So with that being said, I know we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the 4-horse Sovereignty. Matches 5 of the 6 historical angles in addition to competing in the Triple Crown. So let's start first and foremost with the horse that, there's only 5 horses in this race. We're going to break down all 5 of them, but, this dude is a favorite and is favored and for good reason. Talk to us about Sovereignty.
So Sovereignty, number 4 in the Travers, is your morning line favorite. He's going to be your deserving favorite. The morning line is at 2 to 5. I would not be surprised if he is less than that at post time because he's just become something special. And there are certain things that I like to say which turn the difference between good horses and great horses, in my eyes, are 2 things. 1, great horses don't get tired. 2, they're also push-button tactical type of animals where they don't need a setup. They don't need to come from behind. They don't need the lead. Sovereignty has shown over the last 2 races, last being the Jim Dandy, which you just mentioned.
Right.
He showed for the second race in a row, he showed in the Belmont and then in the Jim Dandy that he can sit closer to the pace and not be pace dependent. And once you start to put that and develop that into a horse, that turns the horse into something that is good, into something great, like a horse like Flightline, where you can be a push button type horse, be close to the pace. You could come from back if they go too fast up front. If there's no pace that develops, the horse can go to the lead or go to the front. So Sovereignty is 2 to 5. So in sports terms, right now at the morning line is minus 250, which, if I'm doing my math right, is about a 72% chance of winning. So if you feel that Sovereignty has about a 72% chance of winning, backing that horse on top and in an exacta or singling that horse in a pick 5, a pick 4, a double, a pick 3 is probably the move to go. I feel strongly this is a special horse, that this is the horse to beat.
Let me ask you something, because
Go for it.
this horse skipped the Preakness.
Yes.
Do you feel that this is a horse that possibly we could have, if it won the Preakness? Do you feel that this is a horse that you feel in your gut maybe could have won the Triple Crown this year? Is that how good this horse is?
Yes, I think that the horse skipped the Preakness for main reason is that the horse is owned by Godolphin LLC. Godolphin is a Middle East-based ownership group. They're one of the most popular and biggest in the world. Their Kentucky Derby is the Dubai World Cup, which is run at the end of March, early April. That's kind of their circle on the calendar. So when they saw that they had this special of a horse, they went through the Fountain of Youth, they went through the Florida Preps, they won the Kentucky Derby. The horse is best going longer. It's a very unique dirt horse where it gets better as it goes longer. It has a turn of foot at the end of a race that is special. The Preakness being the shortest distance, there was some vulnerability there that maybe the horse could not kick on. Bill Mott wanted also extra rest. They don't run horses as often as they do back in the day, only with 2 weeks rest. They did the right thing and skipped the Preakness. But would this horse probably have won the Triple Crown? Yes. But you never know, because if he wouldn't have had a huge effort out of the Preakness, maybe he wouldn't have run as well on the Belmont Stakes.
Got you. What's about this distance? How do you think he's going to fare in this distance on Saturday?
This is the same distance as the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
The biggest difference between this race and the Kentucky Derby are the amount of horses in the race. In the Kentucky Derby, he sat a real nice trip. He got pace to run into. Junior Alvarado gave him a great ride, and he kicked clear, and he was the best horse in the race. And he's shown since then that he's improved. His figures have improved. His talent-wise has improved, and his mind has improved, where he's now able to rate, sit more forward. Again, 2 to 5 on this horse, I feel, is short. I believe it's going to be shorter. You're probably going to go off at around 1 to 5. There are 3 main rivals in the race that I feel all have a little bit of a reason that could possibly beat him. But he is the horse to beat.
All right, so let's break down horse number 1, Magnitude. Right now, 2 to 1. Bone chip in his left front ankle that required surgery, forcing him off the Derby trail. But July returned and won the Iowa Derby. What are your thoughts on Magnitude?
He was impressive in the Iowa Derby. He broke fast. He got out there in a hand ride, geared down, took a breather, kicked on late, won by, I think, 9.5, 10 lengths. He didn't beat much. It was kind of a paid workout. It was a prep. He hadn't run since February 15th in the Risen Star, where he kind of put his name on the map of being a Kentucky Derby contender. When you win a race with 108 buyer figure and you go wire to wire, the horse has now shown 3 times, multiple times, that he's a need the lead or right off the lead type of horse. And there is another speed horse in this race that is a legitimate speed. So him being 2 to 1, again, in sports relative terms, that's plus 200. That's a 33% chance of winning the race. Do I feel that he has a 33% chance of winning the race? I think it's lower than that. So I think taking 2 to 1 on Magnitude to win is something that I am not prepared to do.
Let's talk about horse number 3. I know I'm jumping number 2, but horse number 3, Strategic Focus, 6 to 1. Trainer Chad Brown, who's looking for his first Travers win. Flavian Pratt will be on his back. Son of Gun Runner came in 3rd in the Curlin Stakes. Is the number 3 horse the other horse you're referring to in regard to the speed?
The other speed is number 2, Bracket Buster.
Okay.
Bracket Buster
But
has
wait,
tons of speed.
let's talk 3. Anything you like about the 3 horse?
The 3 horse is going to be the horse that I'm going to focus in on, and I'm probably going to bet to win for value purposes.
Oh.
You want me to give you out my reasons? I've got a few.
Well, okay. Let's hold up, because I always, before I let you go, I always ask you, all right, take us to the windows. How are you going to play it? So we know that you fancy the 3 horse. What about the 2 horse? You said the 2 horse is the horse that's bringing the speed. That's Bracket Buster, 20 to 1.
For my pace figures, this is the speed of the speed. They're only going to go one way. He popped out of the gate. I was really impressed with his race on June 14th. I was at Monmouth that day. There was a horse in the race called Garamond, which was a very highly touted Chad Brown horse. This horse took money into that race, into that horse, so I felt it took live money. It popped out of the gate, went fast, sat decent fractions, kicked clear well, and dominated that race. It then ran in the Haskell last time, and it got caught up in a speed duel. It went way too fast early. Journalism is journalism. Journalism is a very, very, very nice horse. It looks like it's a cup below Sovereignty, but it got passed by Journalism. But I thought that was a race that the horse ran better than it looks, as I like to call, on paper. You're going to see that the horse ran fourth, lost by 8 lengths, but it used up too much energy early. And it still made a decent run in a race that I felt that a lot of people thought that he had no business in. At 20-1, him being speed of the speed, I think there's a little bit of value in maybe using that horse in maybe the second slot in an exact on Saturday.
Okay. And should we spend any time talking about the 5, McAfee, or no?
McAfee, there was a horse that was highly touted. It's a half to Torpedo Anna. He has a couple of physical issues that they've been trying to work around. His run last time was okay, even kind of chased the wire-to-wire winner in Chunk of Gold, who's a good horse. He's chased Moplex around 2 Black, who's a really nice New York bred. He seems like a cup below to me. It's going to take a big effort for Moplex to kind of be hit either to win or run second or third. So he'll be the longest shot on the board.
Okay, so now it's your time to shine. As I always like to say, giddy up, take me to the window, Mark. How are you playing it?
So the Travers, again, Sovereignty is going to be tough to beat. Sovereignty is going to be 1-5, but there's something about the air of Saratoga. There's something about this race. There's something about Saratoga, as they call it, the graveyard of favorites, where I'm just not comfortable making a large bet at 1-5 on Sovereignty. So I want a horse. When I look for an upset, when I look for a long shot, I'm looking for a few things. And the number one thing I'm looking for is upside. I'm looking for a horse that has not shown me his best yet, because we've seen Sovereignty's best, I believe. Can Sovereignty improve again? I think it's unlikely. He ran a 5 on the sheets last time. He's made 7 points of development into this year, getting into the weeds a little bit. He's probably, if he runs his race again in the Jim Dandy, he's probably the winner. But Strategic Focus is still green, so it hasn't run that much. It's only run 3 times. Last time out, it made a move that was too early. Flavien Prat moved too early. He admitted it. He knew it. The horse got a little bit lazy on the front end, and when that happens, they lose focus. And then his stablemate, Chancellor McPatrick, kind of came up the inside on him and nailed him late. I thought it was a really nice effort for only his 3rd effort, his second time going to 2 turns. Chad Brown is the best trainer in the world. He knows what he's doing. I thought after that race, I thought that they should add blinkers to this horse. They're adding blinkers.
Ooh.
You're going to get 6 or 7-1, maybe even higher if Magnitude gets bet, which I think it might because of the buyer numbers and what people are kind of saying. The horse has been training well, but number 3 Strategic Force is going to be 6 or 7-1. I'll take plus 600. That'll probably be my win bet with Sovereignty. Kind of thinking in my mind, the pace scenario would be like the 1 and the 2 will get out there, burn a little too much fuel, set a really quick pace. Maybe Sovereignty makes the move a little bit too early. They get a little cocky, like sometimes they do when they think they're on the best horse, and Strategic Focus kind of picks up the pieces at the end. So on when I send out my emails on Giddy Up Bets, I have columns of A, B, C, X. A's are horses that I would weight the same. I'm going to weight both of those horses the same and pick 5s, pick 4s, pick 3s. I'll probably end up betting Strategic Focus to win in the race if I can get 5-6-1. But Sovereignty is the horse to beat. I'll bet those horses in an exacta. And then walking into the window, there's a race right before this race where there's a long shot that I really like. I'm going to play the double into both the 3 Strategic Force and the 4 Sovereignty.
Okay, really quick, because I know you've got to start preparing for our races later on today. Again, we're recording on Thursday, live from Saratoga at Kindred. I need you to get to work because I'm heading to the track after we tape the show, and I want to win some money off of Giddy Up. So really quick, what on Saturday?
Saturday.
Give me your favorite horse, your favorite race.
Okay, favorite race. The race 13 is the Travers. Race 12 is the Grade 1 Forgo.
Okay.
Older Colts, 7 furlong, sprint. Number 8, Scotland, trained by Bill Mott, ran a very nice race against the track bias last time, made a very nice wide middle move, showed me that there is more in the tank. The horse is going to get pace to run into. The horse is primed, ready to go, has a great work pattern. 12-1 on the morning line. He'll probably go off around 10-1. I'll bet the horse to win, and then I'll bet doubles Scotland into Strategic Force and Sovereignty in the Travers. Scotland into Strategic Force double will probably pay 70, 80 to 1. I'll take that. Scotland's Sovereignty will probably pay 12, 13 to 1. I will take that.
You make it sound so easy.
Well, sometimes.
Appreciate you, my friend, as always. Again, Mark DiLorenzo, Giddy Up Bets. Make sure you check him out. All things online, his website, everything, getting you ready each and every race day here up in Saratoga. Again, we're heading to the track later on today. K-Cup, race number 3, 2:18 p.m. is post time. Is she going to win it?
Yes. 6 to 5, sit, stalk right on the outside, kick clear, get first jump, take off. Brad Cox course will be running late. K-Cup wins.
New York bred filly, baby. Let's go. All right. I'll see you at the track.
See you at the track.
All right, joining us on the program is Naj Thompson, and he is with the New York Thoroughbred Breeders, Inc. Why don't you let the folks know, share with them exactly what you do and just how special your organization is.
Thank you, Anita. We're proud to be a sponsor of the show. NYTB is the official authorized representative of the New York Breeding Program right here in New York State. Of course, that includes Saratoga Racecourse, Belmont Park, and Aqueduct Racetrack. And what we do is we work on behalf of the breeding program to increase the foal crop and make sure that our members have the opportunities to race in New York and throughout the country with the best New York breds.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I know you and I have spoken about it. I'm so blessed. America's Best Racing, who we're collaborating with this show this season, reached out to me, and I participated in a program called Stake in Stardom, and they aligned me with Final Furlong, and so a lot of their, if not all of their horses are New York bred, and we have one that's racing later on this afternoon named K-Cup, and it's just been unbelievable. So I'm really excited about her, but it's really like New York and how New York embraces horse racing. Grew up in Miami, spent some time in Baltimore, always went to the Preakness down there. But once I came up here to the Northeast, specifically New York, it's just a whole nother world up here, especially how much the appreciation, the excitement around horse racing.
You're definitely right. And you can speak to the experience as a New York bred owner with Final Furlong, Vince Roth, Daniel Zanetta, great guys and a great team. And you speak to the experiences that you get being able to race at a venue such as Saratoga, in stakes races, K-Cup, of course, running in the Fleet Indian on Thursday, and phenomenal opportunities to enjoy our program and participate.
So let the folks know if they want to know more information, how they can find out more about, New York bred horses and how they can get involved or possibly own one for themselves.
Yes, please visit our website, nytbreeders.org, and also learn more about our membership benefits, nytbreeders.org/membership. You get free entrance to each of the racetracks in New York State, a monthly magazine. We really have a number of opportunities for our members, and we're just trying to get more people involved and more opportunities to enjoy New York breds every day at the track.
All right, so let's talk about some of the horses that, of course, will be starting their self. And let's specifically, obviously, Saturday is such a big day. Travers, one of the biggest, if the not biggest day here at Saratoga Racetrack. So is there a New York bred horse or race that you are eyeing for Saturday?
Sure, certainly is. My Main Squeeze, which is the New York bred horse of the year, will be competing in race 11, the Ballerina. This is a grade 1 race. She is coming off a victory in her previous race, which is the Johnstone, which is a race for New York bred. So she's going back to open company, but she's owned by Buck Butler, who is the owner and a breeder, trained by Mike Maker, a phenomenal trainer, and she represents the best of our program with a phenomenal opportunity to add a grade 1 to her resume on Saturday.
Okay, so that's Saturday, but besides the Fleet Indian, which K-Cup is going to be racing, there's the Albany today. On Friday, there's Seeking the Ante, right?
Yes.
Yaddo. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly.
Yes.
On Sunday, it's West Point Handicap as well as Funny Side. So quite a few and some pretty solid purses as well for New York bred. Any should we be paying attention to any of these races and any horses that you think will do well in these?
Definitely. Certainly for the West Point, you have Rhetorical, which is a horse bred by Karen and Mallory Mort, coming in off a victory trying stakes competition for the first time, but just speaks to the depth and quality of our program that we have 6 state-bred races throughout Travers Week, which is the highlight of the program of the Saratoga Summer. So when you're a part of the New York bred program, you get phenomenal opportunities to compete at the stakes level and against open company right here in New York and a special magical place such as Saratoga.
Fantastic. Any final thoughts before we let you go and we race to the racetrack?
Best of luck to K-Cup in race 3 on Thursday. Appreciate the support from you, Anita, and just want more people to get involved with breeding and racing. Really enjoy the sport. And please visit our website, nytbreeders.org, to learn more.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for being a sponsor of our program this season. It's been fantastic.
Certainly has.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. All right, joining us now is Ryan Anderson from America's Best Racing, ABR. He's been with me throughout this entire Saratoga season. So, of course, it's Travers. It's one of the biggest days, if not the biggest Saturday at the racetrack. So we've got to have you on and get your picks and your plays. So earlier on the show, we had Mark DiLorenzo from Giddy Up Bets on with us. And of course, you know, everybody knows what a historic season Sovereignty has had, the 4-horse. Everybody's anticipating that horse to win, and obviously the odds dictate that. But the 3-horse, Strategic Focus, is a horse that Mark really fancies. So I'm really curious how this race plays out in your head. Let's first and foremost talk about Sovereignty, and I think, right, obviously, rightfully so favored.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he's going to be 1-5 or shorter even in a spot like this, but he deserves it. He has all the accolades. He has the obviously the talent and the ability, coming off of 3 straight dominating wins, 2 of those Grade 1 in the Triple Crown races in the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont, and then just came out and made light work of the Jim Dandy. Comes in here for the Travers. You'd have to believe this was another date that Bill Mott circled for the camp of Sovereignty to, end up here and fire his best effort. But he's meeting a couple of new faces in here, and I think Strategic Focus is one of those, where he's still kind of up and coming. That last effort in the Curlin Stakes back on July 24th, he looked like he was a winner turning for home, and I don't know what happened. He just kind of threw in the towel that day. He still ran and finished on okay, but to my eye, it didn't look like he had much of an excuse to lose that race. So I don't know that is going to enthuse me wanting to take him going even farther in a race like this, but he's certainly one with a lot of upside that we might see, rounded into some good form by the fall.
All right, another horse favored 2-1, Magnitude. There's a lot of talk about this horse that potentially a few people feel could pull the upset. So your take on the 1 horse, Ryan?
Yeah, it's kind of the wise guy horse, and that is where I ultimately ended up, because I think as a bettor you have to find the value. And while Sovereignty is much the best horse, he's facing a horse that he hasn't yet, and he's facing a horse with real speed from the gate, and real speed that can last at least through 9 furlongs that we've seen. So that's just a new foe that Sovereignty is going to have to overcome. I wouldn't be surprised if Sovereignty inhales Magnitude at the top of the lane and goes on to win like the nice horse he is. But those last 2 speed figures Magnitude has run puts him right there in the competition. And if you have a horse get out on the lead early, going 1.25 miles, we've seen that be favorable at Saratoga. We've seen that be favorable in the Travers before. So I don't think it's impossible. And Magnitude came back in the Iowa Derby, and I know it was the Iowa Derby, so he's not facing any crazy horses like he's going to be facing this Saturday in Strategic Focus and, of course, Sovereignty. But if you get out to the lead, speed can be dangerous, and I hope that Ben Curtis and the rail, they take advantage of that speed. They get out, they stretch the field out, and they put everybody else in chase mode, make everybody else uncomfortable, and let Magnitude do what he does best, and that's just roll on the front end.
All right, so as always, before we let you go, I always say, Ryan, take me to the window. How are you playing?
Yeah, well, Sovereignty is obviously one of the more likelier winners of the entire weekend, maybe even of the summer. I have to take Magnitude here. I think you're going to get a price above 2-1. I'm thinking you might get even 5-2 because I know Sovereignty is going to take a lot of money. The way people are talking about Strategic Focus, I wouldn't be surprised to see him, take a little bit of money as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just put an easy win bet on Magnitude. and watch what should be a very, very exciting race. I know it's only a 5-horse field, but you have a lot of interesting angles to approach from, and obviously one really nice horse to watch that if he passes this test, I believe he's going to become the first horse in history to win the Kentucky Derby, Belmont, and Travers in the same season.
It will be exciting. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Again, see Ryan and, of course, all his work all over America's Best Racing. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with Ryan McFadden. He is the owner of this beautiful establishment, Kindred, great sponsors of ours throughout the Saratoga racing season, and also owns a really cool beer bar next door called Tap Room. Let's start with Kindred first
Sure.
and foremost. Like how did this come about? This place is awesome.
Thank you so much. So how did it come about? Great question. So originally we actually had a pizza place here, and during COVID the margins weren't right, and my wife and I started getting into wine, so we started kind of researching some bars in Brooklyn that we liked, and eventually came upon this concept. And so we've kind of morphed from like a wine bar to like just a very good place to hang out. We have great cocktails, really good food. We still use our wood-fired ovens from the pizza shop, so you're going to see our chefs are super talented. They're out front cooking in front of you every night. Wine list is great. Basically what we're trying to do is just have a spot for people to have fun, have a good time out, because you're paying to go out to dinner, you want to have fun, you want to have good food, and we're trying to provide all those things.
And I love, because you can't see it because we're obviously the cameras are facing this way,
Sure.
but you've got these like really cool kind of like garage door, open, airy. I would imagine and the weather is just has been wonderful this season.
It has.
I would imagine with those open and the vibe in here is spectacular.
The vibe in here late at night is gorgeous, especially when the sun goes down, cools down, these doors open up. It's a very comfortable, everything flows right into the outside. It's a really fun place to hang out.
And so, and then talk about, because I think it's really cool. You've got this kind of and I called it swanky earlier.
Yeah.
But you've got this kind of vibe here, which, by the way, if K-Cup wins later on this afternoon, which we're all anticipating her to do, we're coming here to celebrate, just so you know.
Love that.
We'll be back here later on tonight.
Very cool.
But talk about Tap Room next door, and how did that come to be, where you have these two establishments, very different, but yet kind of the same.
Kind of similar. So, Henry Street Tap Room, we're going to hit our 13th anniversary in October. So we've
Wow.
been there for a while. That's the original baby. The town's been great to us since the day we opened the door. It started off as a craft beer place, and again, sort of just morphed into a great place to hang out and get good food. We've had people get engaged there, get married there. It's become sort of like a go-to place in town, which we really appreciate. And yeah, so we were running that for a long time. We wanted to get into something else, and this was right next door, and we feel like this is a perfect match for what we have going on at Tap Room. And come down to Henry Street, we'll take care of all your needs.
It's interesting because, again, we're collaborating with ABR, America's Best Racing, and Dan Torgman is a very dear friend of mine. And when I told him that you guys were coming on and you guys were going to be sponsors of the show, he said, "Oh man, they've got the best beer selection in town." And I was just like, "Oh really?" He's like, "Yeah, that's great." So
It's true. We put a lot of pride into that and go out of
yeah.
our way
So
to get
so
the
what?
best
So
stuff out there.
yeah. So how many beers do you offer?
So we have 16 beers on tap. They rotate, but we get stuff that you're not going to see at other bars. We get things like Hill Farmstead and Trillium and things that you're not going to see on tap other places. And so we really make sure that that's always been the star of the show, and we keep it that way.
Awesome. Well, again, such a great establishment. Hopefully, we'll be here later on
so.
celebrating,
Yeah.
not drowning our tears
Right.
in a bottle of wine. But with that being said, do you have a pick for the Travers?
So Sovereignty is going to be tough to beat, but Saratoga, Graveyard of Champions, hoping to maybe magnitude and get out front, stay out front, give him a hard time. So I'm going to take him as I get he's the second favorite, but as a long shot because I think Sovereignty is going to be tough to beat.
It's going to be a fun race to watch, that's for sure. Ryan, thank you so much. Really
you.
appreciate you having us here. Such a great venue to record from, and thank you so much for being a part of our show this season.
Thank you. I appreciate your help with everything. Thanks.
You got it. You got it. All right, welcome back. Vince Roth is here. Final furlong. I've been telling you about the story. Of course, ABR, Stake and Stardom, put me in touch with Vince. And here we are. And later on today, again, we're recording from Kindred here in Saratoga on Thursday. So by the time this show airs, K-Cup will have already won her race number 3 later on. Well, hopefully. Oh my God, I'm talking
All
so
right,
much.
all right, all right.
I'm talking so much smack, Vince. But yeah, we're really excited. You know, we're going to be, as soon as we're done recording here, we're heading to the track. We're going to be, you got not one, but 2 owners boxes,
Correct.
right? And we're going to be cheering K-Cup on. So
great.
really excited about it. Tell the folks a little bit more about Final Furlong and,
Yeah, sure.
and,
Before
and
we
what it's
start,
about.
I did bring you a gift. It's a K-Cup hat that hopefully you could wear today during
Oh
the
my
race.
gosh, yes!
Before, during, and after.
I love it. Okay, yes.
So yeah, I mean, Final Furlong Racing, we're a small boutique New York syndicate. ABR, America's Best Racing, partnered us with you, as you know, which was a match made in heaven, which is great. We've had some success with your Philly K-Cup so far.
Yes. So really interesting though, like, and this is why ABR connected us, was because like I'm all about girl power, and you guys only race fillies. Why is that? A few people have asked me that, like, why fillies? Just
Yeah,
fillies.
I mean, well, girl power, like you said, first and foremost.
Right.
But fillies, when talking with a bunch of different trainers, fillies are easier to handle. They're easier on themselves than colts. There is some residual value to them if they can prove themselves on the track. But as a business too, we wanted to differentiate ourselves a bit. If we're racing against a smaller pool of horses, solely New York bred, solely fillies, we probably have a better shot of winning. And to testament your horse today.
There we go. And if you're interested in possibly dabbling in the horse racing business, I highly recommend Final Furlong. If somebody was interested, I know because you have, there's opportunity to invest
Yeah.
in a variety of your horses and a number of your horses. If somebody out there is watching and they're interested, they're like, hey, I want to dabble. I'd like to be a horse owner. I want to come to the track, sit in an owner's box with Vince and his crew and cheer on your horse. If that's something you want to do, how can they reach out to you? How can they get a hold of you and Dan?
Sure, and I appreciate that. They can go to our website, gofinalfurlong.com, or follow us on socials at gofinalfurlong. And I try to tell everybody too, horse ownership is like a country club membership, right? If you love golf, if you love pickleball, and you go to the club and you play, I mean, horse ownership is that. You're going to be around people that like the same thing you like, that are rooting for a common interest, and when you see your horse turning for home and it's in the lead, there's no feeling like it.
No, there is not, and I'm really hoping. I experienced it once already. It's been 2 months. When was
Yeah,
when
2
was the last time she ran?
2 months, just about.
2 months ago. So, and I said it right. Bucket list. It is a bucket list. So I'm hoping I get to experience that yet again later on this afternoon. We will find out. So we're headed to the track.
Yes.
Again, I want to thank, first of all, Kindred. Amazing, unbelievable venue. This is so cool. We love to do our shows out and about as opposed to being in a studio. So thank you so much for Kindred, as well as right next door, Henry Street Tap Room. Thank you so much for sponsoring our show all season long and allowing us to come out here and do the show from your venue. We really appreciate it. Also want to thank New York Thoroughbred Breeders, Inc. That's another thing that you can. K-Cup is a New York bred horse. So,
Oh yeah, I mean, or a day like today, you have a large purse, $200,000 purse, and in order to be in this race, you have to be a 3-year-old New York bred filly. So it's a very narrow pool. There's 5 horses in the race. I'd like it if there were only 1 horse and we guaranteed a victory, but
Right.
we'll take 5. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, the New York bred horses and being part of the New York Breeders program, there's really nothing like it.
Yeah, so I want to thank Naj Thompson for coming out. Again, he represents NYTB Inc. For more information, make sure you check them out online. America's Best Racing, we couldn't do the show without you. So Dan and the crew, thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Mark DiLorenzo from Giddy Up Bets, who joined us earlier. Hopefully he will have provided us some winners, as well as Ryan Anderson from ABR. And hey, again, thank you so much for tuning in, watching, subscribing, commenting, all the things. Hopefully you've enjoyed our program. We've gotten you ready for Travers, and we're off to the racetrack. Hopefully K-Cup wins, because we will be back here at Kindred tonight celebrating.
Cheers.
All right,
Bye-bye.
cheers. Everybody, good luck at the track.